Going on YouTube? It is, 6:01 May 31st. Today's the last day of the month. Before I get into what I'm going to talk about in this video, today's the last day of the month. Do what you need to do. Do something productive today. Help somebody today. Make somebody smile today. Have a good end to your month. You're about to go into summer, June and July, the main months of summer. And this is the time where people get distracted. You fall off the righteous path. You stop working as hard. You stop making as much money. You stop, being so selfless and caring more about just having fun. So do something today that is going to help somebody else, benefit yourself, make somebody else smile, and just be a better person today. You have one day. One day, you'll never get May 2025 back for the rest of your life, so make it count. But today, we're going to talk about how God and Jesus changed my entire life. This book right here changed my entire life. I'm honestly going to take it back like through my entire life, and it's not going to be too extensive, so you won't get bored and stuff like that. But growing up, I didn't have the best upbringing with Jesus and God. Yeah, we would go to church on Easter, and we weren't atheists or anything like that, but it's just different than what I know it as now. I wasn't exposed to it to a full extent that I should have been, or people, in my opinion, now that a real Christian should be. And I went to church in middle school and stuff like that, on Wednesday nights, but that doesn't, you don't really grasp it at that age. You're kind of just doing it for the socialism or the social aspect. And then throughout high school, I was completely not out of it. I didn't do anything with church. And it's ironic because that's when I started to fall into the bad things of the world. The drinking, the partying, the smoking, the vaping, the all this other stuff, that these habits that are completely anti religious, and that's where the worldly Tommy became a thing. When I wasn't locked into the Word or relationship with God, I started becoming more worldly, and that's how all of us are. And that led to I go to college, play football, and honestly, my priorities at that time were just not school, football, God, anything like that. My priorities were having a good time and getting, drunk and high and stuff like that. That was what I thought life was about. Genuinely, I thought life was about having fun, turning up, doing this, that, and the other. And that was the worldly view of me. That's the enemy, trying to pull you away from the things that God has put you on this planet for. But I was blind to all that. When you don't have an understanding of what God is really like, and you don't understand how He moves in your life, then you're blind to all this stuff. You're blind to what the enemy is actually trying to do to you, and you're blind to what it will do to you if you keep going down the said path. I've struggled with sin my whole life. Sin of, I don't really know how to call it because I'm still learning a lot, but just temptation of drugs and alcohol and substance abuse. I am someone that can handle a lot of that stuff and still be productive, be a productive person. So it's very difficult for me to be and I'm not an addict, so I can't say oh, if I do this, I'll fall off the wagon forever and become homeless and drug addict. That's not me. So it's honestly even more difficult for me personally to stay away from that stuff, just because it's not a make or break for me. I can do it and be fine. And that's the biggest, honestly, the hardest thing for people like me. I can go to the bars and wake up Sunday and not drink for, another 3 weeks or this, that, and the other. Some people aren't like that. But the way I'm wired, it's honestly more difficult because the temptation's even stronger because it's not a big deal to me. But that lifestyle brought me to the lowest point of my life, which is just loneliness, financially broke, no one to go to, emotional discomfort, and just all these negative aspects of what life is were me, because I was so far from the Word and so deep into the worldly life, the social media life, the clubs, the drugs, the fake friends, the girls, the this, that, and the other. All these things that are distractions that are short, making you feel good in the moment, short dopamine, but long term, pain. That's what I like to call it. Short dopamine, long term pain, because that's what it really is. Is these people, these things feel great in the moment. They feel great for a few seconds, a few minutes, a few hours, and then as the time goes on, these things weigh on your shoulders heavily, weigh you down, pull your mindset down, pull your self view of yourself down, pull your view of everything else down, and it just diminishes who you are as a true person at heart. Because the best person on the internet in real life is the most raw, unique version of themselves. The person that is the most vulnerable about who they are, what they believe, how they think, this, that, and the other, is the most interesting person. And you know that's true for a fact if you talk to people like that. And when you're off drugs and alcohol and all these other things that affect you mentally, affect you emotionally, then you're not the raw version of yourself. You're a jaded version of yourself. And no one really likes that because they can't tell who you are at heart. Psychologically, naturally, as people, we like to discover things about each other. We like to understand who people are at heart, what kind of person they are, and if we relate to that person. And if we do, we enjoy them, we follow them, we like their content, we become friends with them, we like talking to them because we understand each other. When you have drugs and alcohol jading you all the time, it doesn't help you at all. You can't grow socially in the world because no one will really understand you to a T if you're not vulnerable in the rawest version of yourself, the sober version of yourself. But going into my, view on religion, I feel like for a long time I was like anyone in the audience, and I was like, yeah, like I'll get right with God later, or like, yeah, like I believe in God and I believe in Jesus and I believe He died for our sins, but I'm not ready to like walk that lifestyle, and I'm still struggling with that, but not the thought of that, but actually walking it, because it's very difficult in 2025 to walk, the same way Jesus and they did back in the day. But just like you, I always thought that was kind of something that was a choice of mine, and I had time to make said decision, and that I was, it would work out, and it wouldn't be a problem for me. Now, the issue with that mindset is, and it's a very cliche, but tomorrow is not promised. Think about it. If the trumpet sounded and Jesus and everyone came down today to collect people to go to heaven and to send people to hell, where would you fall in that platform? Would you be one that goes up, or would you be one that goes down? And genuinely answer that question. Because the people that go up are the people that truly believe and are saved by Jesus Christ and truly believe in God, and they walk the righteous path and they try their best every day, and they will go up. But if you're not on that side of life, then you will go down. And you don't go down for a day, a week, a month. You go down forever. And that should scare the shit out of you. That should literally terrify you, because that's what it did for me. Is stuff may feel painful and long and discomforting in this world. Imagine hell forever. Because I'm a fear-based person. Like, I do things out of fear, out of being broke, out of being in pain, out of being hurt, this, that, and the other. Imagine being in hell forever. That's something that you can't, there is no regret, because there is no getting it back. Like, you can't even regret it. Like, you're screwed for life, for eternity, for the rest of your soul being in this, universe, whatever we want to call it, forever, for life. So that thought kind of pushed me to, I need to get serious, and I need to get serious now. And then as you get into your journey, you'll see that you'll meet people through that you barely know, that cared about you more than anyone from your worldly life ever did. More than the people, the boys you smoked with, the boys you drank with, the boys you did that, the other with, the girls you hooked up with, the girls you dated, this, that, the other. You thought these people loved you, cared about you, wanted you to succeed, wanted you to be a better person. But the people you'll meet that are on the same righteous path, that believe in God, these people genuinely want to see the best, most raw, vulnerable version of you, which I just said is what people truly like at the end of the day. It's what truly people want at the end of the day, because they can relate to it. They can understand it. They can relate to your pain. They can relate to your happiness. They can relate to your goals. They can relate to your discomforts. And as you go through this path of self-discovery and discovery with God and your relationship with Him, you'll see that things will start to happen for you. In my life, 2022, 2021, I was drugs, alcohol, drinking, etc. And what was I doing? Dating someone that wasn't good for me, going to the club 4 or 5 times a week, smoking every day, vaping, doing drugs, all these sort of things. And where were the results of that? I was in pain. I would cry a lot. I was lost. I had no money. I was, not antisocial, but just disconnected from reality. So where did the worldly life got me nothing? No results. Yeah, short term dopamine, long term pain. That's what the worldly view got me. And then late 2023, I get back into the Word for the first time in like 6 years. I'm going to church with a buddy of mine. Like we're going to small group a lot. I'm waking up right like this at 5 a.m. and I'm reading the Bible and I'm praying every morning and I'm just praying for guidance, a vision, strength, this, that, the other, all the cliche things that everybody wants. And what happens in my life? The girl that wasn't really great for me breaks up with me. A new job a few months later opens up for me. I'm making $10,000-$20,000 a month, $30,000 a month. Great money for a 20-year-old. People that weren't good for me kind of just linger out of my life. It's not like anything specific even happened. They just were gone. Like so many things. I started traveling more. Like just opportunities to travel with people and this, that, and the other start happening more. My family, my dad gets a better job. Family finally starting to make some money. Like all these sort of little things. When I just put myself out there and start developing that relationship with God, start to happen. And I only see it looking back on it, but during the time you don't understand that like this is Him moving for you. But you kind of have to put your hand out. It's like when you see a guy that you want to meet and he'd be down to meet you or he respects you, y'all are mutuals, but he's not going to go over to you first. Like, yeah, he's there, but you have to put your hand out. You got to put your hand out and shake his hand. And he'll meet you halfway. But you have to make that first step because it's honestly, I'm going to call it this. Like when you're in 2025, when you're dating an ugly girl, that's like being a Christian. And I know that sounds crazy because God is great and God is amazing, but it's almost like not frowned upon, but corny, looked weird at today because we're so worldly today with social media and designer clothes and supercars and all this other stuff that doesn't even matter. That if you walk around as a Christian and you don't care about any of that stuff and you walk the righteous path and you try to not go to clubs, try to not cuss, do all these other things, then you're looked at as weird, as an outcast, as a loser, same as dating an ugly girl. That's why I say that. But as you get into a relationship with God, you'll see that He works through you and things do happen for you. I'll give you 2 more examples. At the end of this month, or the beginning of this month, I was, not in the Word as much. I still read and everything and pray, but just not as much, like not as deep as I normally am. And I'm kind of just living the worldly life, nothing horrible, but just like not trying to think about Jesus as much as I can and God as much as I can. And nothing happened. Like the results just, I wasn't making any money. I didn't feel good. I had self-doubt, pain. That little kind of old Tommy feeling came back to me a little bit. And then like this past 2 weeks, I told my girl, I said, look, we're going to get back into it. I got to get back into it. I got to feel better. So I got back on the morning routine, waking up early, gym better, doing the gym more, prioritizing that, and prioritizing God more. And instantly, within 5 days, I make 4 sales, make $40,000. My life feels better. My brain feels better. I feel better. I feel more confident, open about talking stuff like this. And that's just now I have the self-realization and the relationship with Him enough that's deep enough that I can understand that's Him. Like that is Him. That is Him saying, this is what happens when you believe me. This is what happens when you trust in me. Another example is like I'm on a run last night. It was literally last night. I told my girlfriend about it. I'll literally show you the text. Let me see if I can like read it word for word because that'd be perfect. Alright, so I'm on a run last night. I said, I'm on a run/walk, and I swear I just had this divine moment. Like, God was like, stop here. And I just looked over, and the sky was hitting the water in between the trees, and the sun was just beaming in on my face, and He was almost like He was telling me, look, all this was made for me and for you to enjoy. I said it was the weirdest feeling. I felt so grateful to be alive right now, and normally I don't. Um, I go on to say, I don't know. It feels like and felt like all I do is stress about the future, moving on, growing up, obtaining things of life, what it has to offer. And God basically said, stop right here, look over there, and understand this is all it is. This is the only thing that matters, which is being alive, understanding He blessed us with this, and spreading the gospel. Um, and that's the truth. That's the truth of life. That is literally the truth. And He stopped me, and that's the closest I think I've ever had to a divine intervention. Is that voice in the back of my head, which is Him. It's just like, stop worrying, just be and enjoy. Just be here, be present, enjoy this, reap the fruits of your labor, but enjoy life for what it is. You're supposed to be here. Wherever you are, you're meant to be there. He puts you there. He's putting you there for a reason, to help this person, to help yourself, to get you to that next level in life. There's reasoning for all of this stuff. We're too blind and honestly stupid to see it. We can't fathom the works of Him. So as you go through this summer, and as you go through your life in general, understand that God is real, and you have to put your hand out first. And the more effort you give Him, the more results He'll put into your life. Not even results, just doors He'll open for you, people He'll bring to you. Because the worldly life will put you in a place that is very, very hard to come back from. Take me for example. You can go to my Instagram. It's the same as my YouTube handle. You can see who I was at 19, 20, 21 years old. And I'm telling you right now, it was mentally and physically the worst I've ever been. I just was not in a good area, good headspace, good lifestyle. When I got closer to God and took the true religious, righteous path, I understood what life really is. And my life started to evolve much quicker, better financially, better mentally, better physically, everything like that. I know it's difficult. I know it can be embarrassing. I know it can be vulnerable. But again, that is what people love. That is what people love. If you're a guy out there who doesn't have a lot of friends, it's hard to get girls, this, that, the other, hard to work out, this, that, no motivation, no direction, get right with God first. I had a kid in my DMs reach out to me the other week, and he was like, I've never had a girlfriend. I'm just not motivated. I feel like I'm stagnant in life. Like I'm suicidal sometimes, this, that, the other. And my literal first advice was get a relationship with God. And then secondly, hit the gym. Of course, that's my personal advice. But that's the genuine answer is when you have a relationship with God, you don't need a girl. You don't need a gym. You don't need friends. You don't need parties. You don't need anything because that's all that matters. That's all that there is. This is all that it is. This is all life is, literally to a T. That's all we're gonna have. It's all we'll ever have. Like my girlfriend now, we've had so many conversations where I love her and we have a great relationship, and I think I'm gonna spend a long time with her. But if some reason she don't want me anymore or something doesn't work out, I'll be fine. Like I will literally not even be too distraught over it, because at the end of the day, I have a relationship with God and Jesus, and that's what my life's gonna be like forever, with or without her. And that's just what it is. When you have that relationship, you feel better about yourself and better about your life, because that's the end be all. You're married to Him, you date Him, you're friends with Him, He's your best friend, He's your worst enemy sometimes. It's all these things He is, and you are Him, and you are that. So my advice to someone out there, if you're a guy who is struggling mentally, physically, and all this, get a relationship with God. You can DM me, you can DM other people, you can just watch podcasts, you can just read the Bible randomly. These tiny little chapters you'll get something from every chapter in here. And it will change your life. And if you think of it like this, if you want to live the worldly life, not the clubs, the drugs, and the alcohol, but maybe materialistic stuff, you'll get closer to getting that stuff through Him than you will by yourself. Because He'll open doors for you. If you truly mean it and truly want a relationship with Him and truly want to walk like the way Jesus did into today in 2025, doors will open for you because you will become a rare individual. My brand is called 1% because you'll become a 1% person, because 99% of today is worldly people and they don't live by the word. If you want to become a 1% man and a 1% person, You get a relationship with God. You walk like Him, and you become the best version of yourself. Kill it today. Today's the last day of the month. Start reading the Word. Start waking up early. Start loving yourself. Start loving your life. Start loving the Lord. And I promise doors will open for you. You'll feel better. Things will happen for you. You'll meet your wife. You'll get that job. You'll make more money. You'll move out of that apartment. You'll do this and the other. It will all come together with you, but it starts with your religion, and it starts with your view of God, and it starts with your relationship with Jesus. Love you guys.